Jack, police! Stay where you are! Stay where you are, police! Madam, is your phone missing? Have you got a phone? Stay there, police. At this point, you're under arrest for theft. The reason I'm arresting you is we just found a stolen phone on you and I've witnessed...
Pound coin.
Never seen them in my life.
So it's from the Royal Mint, so the same place that all legal tender comes from.
Have you got any other means of payment at the minute?
I don't know. Right. Can I ask why you didn't tell me before you started recording?
So when we go to any incident, our tour of duty and our police protocol is to video every incident we go to achieve the best evidence.
But you've got to notify the person, or the first available opportunity.
No, we don't.
You do.
Have you got that from somewhere? Have you read that up somewhere? Or?
Yes, your policy. Yeah.
Well, at the minute, we're obviously videoing everything because we've been called to an incident. Immediate response where there's some ongoing issue with payment, whether it's a domestic...
999?
Well, that's what's coming as, yeah.
Wow.
We just didn't know what was happening. There was an altercation in the shop, so we've arrived on that instance. Are you going to give me your name? I'm
not, no.
Right, okay. Because is there a reason for that?
Because it's a civil matter, and it's not something that the police can get involved in.
To a degree, you're right. It is a civil matter. We can deal with it a different way, but obviously, ultimately, you haven't...
From the moment the officer arrived, it was clear she wasn't handling things properly. The auditor noticed her body camera and asked why she hadn't mentioned it. Police guidance is very clear. Officers should tell members of the public when they're recording. Instead of acknowledging that, she denied that any such rule existed. Next, she began asking for the auditor's name. But this wasn't a criminal issue. It was a civil disagreement between him and the petrol station. In such cases, there's no legal reason to demand ID. Either she didn't know the rules or decided to ignore them. Both are serious concerns for someone in uniform. Then came a surprising turn. She admitted it was a civil dispute, yet tried to justify asking for identification to sort it out later. That's not how lawful policing works. If there's no suspected offense, there's no authority to demand personal details. Suggesting that someone could be circulated as wanted in a civil disagreement was completely unfounded. That process only applies to criminal cases.
They've run the post office and said that it doesn't really exist, you can't pay with that. He obviously won't give us our details. I've explained to him to a degree it's a civil matter. However, if he does make off and he doesn't give us our details, we're struggling for any sort of civil issue at a later date. Any details and making off without payment, yeah. So I've explained if he does give us his details and we know where he is and we can contact him at a later date, hopefully this issue can get resolved. Now, he's obviously not really wanting to do that at the minute.
Because it's a civil issue and it's nothing for the police to get involved in.
But you're still going to make off, aren't you? Technically without payment, but if we can get your details...
But I have paid.
But you haven't...
And it is their policy to accept the £20 coin.
Has he paid?
No, he hasn't.
Right, if you haven't paid and if you walk out the door now...
They've still got the money though.
Just let me finish. If you walk out that door now, you are liable for an arrest because we don't have your details.
But you don't need them.
Well, I do.
Because it's a civil issue.
But it's not, because a make off without payment is then a police matter.
The second officer walks in and instantly makes things worse, jumping straight to threats of arrest. That's absurd. The auditor was still inside, making no attempt to leave, and openly disputing the payment. There's no making off without payment, because he hadn't left, and certainly no intent to avoid paying. What makes her threat even weaker is the fact the auditor had already tried to pay, with a £20 Royal Mint coin that the cashier refused. That alone destroys any idea he was avoiding payment. Under the Theft Act, both the act of leaving and the intent to dodge payment must be present. Neither applied here. By twisting the situation into a criminal matter just because she didn't get his details, the officer exposed a total lack of understanding.
So if you walk out that door now, If you walk out that door now, you'll be getting arrested for make off without payment.
But there is an agreement with BP that the coin can be used.
Is there any other way that you can pay? Because we're going to sit here for hours arguing. I've been quite respectful to you. I appreciate you have to a degree, and I appreciate that from yourself. You haven't been argumentative with me, and I appreciate that you've been a normal human being. However, we need
I don't intend to.
No, I know you appreciate that.
If you can pay for the fuel now by other means, and that's fair enough, it'll be the end of the matter.
Or if you can give us your details, and we can deal with it at a slow time, we can offer you that. But if you're not willing to do either any, then we're struggling with what we have left to do.
Because we can't let you walk out that door without paying. But
Do you know where you live? You might not even be from around here. I'm not saying you are, but you know what I mean. We have people where they'll make off and then they won't give us our details, and then we're going to struggle. I'm still going to have that £20 of fuel, unfortunately, with this BP garage outstanding.
which car is it?
But I have paid for the fuel.
But you haven't paid for the fuel. Which one?
Right, we're going round in circles, aren't we?
We are, unfortunately, yeah. We've agreed, we've reasoned with you now, we've tried to say that if you give us your details, just tell you where you live, we'll deal with it slow time. However, you then leave, you don't have your details, you don't know where you live, you could live in London for all we know, and then there's still this making off without payment because they will not accept this as payment.
But I don't have to identify for a civil issue.
It technically isn't a civil issue though, is it, when you leave and you don't pay? You haven't paid for your fuel. We've got the payment here, which isn't acceptable, so really you haven't paid.
Only showed that the officer Zess had no solid legal basis for her actions. If she truly believed a crime might have occurred, she needed to confirm the facts, such as whether there was dishonesty, an attempt to leave, or an intent to avoid payment. But none of that applied here. The auditor stayed at the counter, tried to pay, questioned the method of payment. A typical civil issue, not a criminal one. When the second officer arrived, things escalated further. She immediately began talking about arrest, even though the auditor was still inside, speaking calmly and making no attempt to leave. The claim that he was making off without payment simply didn't fit. He had even tried to pay with a £20
I've handed the coin over, so I haven't got that in my possession, and I've contacted BP head office before coming here.
Right, and was that today then, or?
No.
So when was that then? So you've contacted BP head office before you've come in?
Correct.
Right, so did you contact them today, or was it yesterday, or last week, or?
It's not up to me to say that.
How's it money?
Do you understand what the £20 coin is?
No, that's why I'm confused.
Well, why are you threatening me for arrest then, if you don't know?
Because it's not money.
It is.
Right. We'll agree to disagree. At the end
you don't know that. It is. It's legal tender, the same as a £20 note and a £10 note.
Right, and who did you speak to from the BP garage, the manager?
It's a Royal Mint who issued that £20 coin.
Right. Okay.
So it's the same money as any other money.
If you get someone on the phone to me who you've spoken to earlier, then we could kind of end the matter here, can't we?
Well, if it's a civil issue, I don't need to assist you.
But at the minute we don't know it's a civil matter.
But I don't need to assist you in a civil issue.
But you do, because it then turns into a police matter.
Royal Mint coin that the cashier refused. That alone showed there was no intent to avoid paying. Under the Theft Act, both the act of leaving and the intent to avoid payment must be proven. Neither was present. Turning this situation into a criminal case only revealed how little understanding the officers had of the law. Throughout the encounter, the officers kept warning him not to leave, as if he was about to run off, even though he never did. They weren't reacting to his behavior. They were reacting to something they imagined. That's not enforcing the law. It's misunderstanding it. And when they said they couldn't confirm his identity without ID, that didn't hold up.
Because you haven't given us the details, and you're going to walk out that door, and it's technically a failure to pay.
But then it'll be a civil. But then I'll sue you.
Well, that's fine. If you want to sue us, that's fine.
Unlawful arrest.
Like I said, we've been honest with you in terms of which way we can go. The staff here have been very honest. Okay, and all I'm saying is, if you get the person on the phone who you spoke to earlier with the agreement, then that could be the end of the matter. But as far as I do, then technically, if you walk out the door, there's going to be a make without payment.
He's already accepted to take it.
You haven't accepted to take it. No, haven't accepted to take it. You walk out that door, becomes a criminal matter, and you get arrested for make off without payment.
You give us your details.
You're refusing to give us your details, and we don't know that vehicle is yours because you're not.
But I've told you.
Is it urgent?
That he said he would take the coin.
But he isn't now.
If I take my mask off.
Right, well I wasn't here for that, so we have no witnesses, unfortunately, other than you and him. Right now I can't view that.
Body camera.
But right now I can't view that. At the end of the day, you've come in, you've paid for you've got your fuel, you've come in. This isn't a payable matter. Once you leave, we've offered you to give us your details and deal with it that way. For all I know, that vehicle could be registered to somebody else and lived in London. And how are we ever going to trace you?
But I don't need to assist you.
Once you leave the situation, it is making off without payment. I can't be any more reasonable with you and give you some sort of options that we can go.
But I don't need to assist you.
Are you offering to give
because
the
you're
staff,
wrong.
not myself, not my colleague, the staff your name and contact number?
No.
Right, so we have one option but two will offer you up then.
Well, I've got a civil agreement in the
No, no,
background.
no, no, no.
So-
You can
court.
I've
Yeah,
got
prove that at court.
That's
then.
fine. You can prove that at court.
Right, well, this moment in time, you're currently under arrest for making off without payment. You don't
I
have to
haven't-
say anything,
but I haven't made off.
defense. We don't mention one question in the budget line. Court, anything you do is to make a good evidence.
But I haven't made off
Necessity
though.
for your arrest is recorded in fact investigation. Okay?
But I haven't made off.
That you're under caution as well.
And due to the fact you failed to provide details.
But I haven't made off.
Failed to provide details, yeah.
But I haven't made off.
Right, are we going to go calmly? Are we going to go quietly?
We would go calmly all the time.
Okay, well, do you want to walk with us then?
Of course.
Thank you. Just come with me, sir, please. Have you got anything in your pockets that's going to harm me or you? Just take them out. It's just a question we ask everybody.
We just take it.
Up either. His car registration was right outside, an easy and lawful way to verify his details. Instead, they ignored that and kept demanding what they had no authority to require. Turning a simple disagreement into a confrontation, the auditor had already made his case. Clear, BP itself confirmed the coin was valid. That should have been the end of it. Instead, the officer insisted that he personally call the company, or it would become a police matter. But refusing to do that doesn't turn a civil issue into a criminal one. The police are there to apply the law, not to shift the burden onto the public. Her remark that we don't know that coin made things worse. A £20 Royal Mint coin is a legal tender. If the officers didn't recognize it,
About 10 months ago, I walked out of those gates after being falsely arrested for using the £20 coin. The Chief Constable has paid out £4,000 in compensation, but unfortunately he did not apologise at any point, even taking him to court. He went all the way to court, we had the hearing date, and then the Chief Constable saw some sense and paid £4,000 in compensation, but no apology.
that was their misunderstanding, not the auditor's fault. Then came the most concerning part, the arrest. The auditor was taken into custody while still inside the shop, clearly stating he hadn't left and was trying to pay. That alone should have stopped the situation immediately. To make such an arrest when the basic conditions of the offense weren't met was completely unjustified. In court, the truth came out. The auditor received a £3,999 settlement plus legal costs. A significant amount that reflects how weak the case against him really was. Once examined legally, the officer's actions couldn't be defended, and the department had to settle. But what stood out most was the response from leadership. According to the auditor, the chief constable never issued an apology. The force paid out thousands in taxpayer money, effectively acknowledging the mistake, but refused to take responsibility publicly. That silence says a lot. It reflects a culture more focused on protecting image than restoring trust. This entire case shows how a minor civil issue, something that never needed police involvement, turned into a serious wrongful action because basic judgment and understanding were missing. When authority replaces common sense, the results can be damaging not only for the individuals involved, but for public confidence as a whole. And what's worse is how the officers built their entire case on a scenario that never actually happened. Instead of dealing with facts, they acted on assumptions, and that's not policing. It's poor decision-making. When intimidation replaces communication, it hurts everyone. Because if this can happen over a coin, it shows how quickly small mistakes can grow into something much bigger. Nearly £4,000 in taxpayer money was paid out, yet not a single word of apology followed. That silence isn't strength, it's avoidance. It shows that maintaining image was prioritized over correcting behavior. That's the real lesson here. Professional accountability matters. When officers uphold the law correctly, the public gains confidence. When they don't, everyone loses. That's all for today's video. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps support independent coverage like this. Also, check out Ice by Audits. His channel link is in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.